Luffy's going to have the most ridiculously large and powerful army at the end of One Piece. We all expect that this epic series will have one of the most epic and intense final battles we have seen in all of anime. Eiichiro Oda, the author of One Piece himself, has mentioned more than once that he's working heatedly on a war that will make the Battle of Marineford look like a playground scruff between a few third graders. And so, assuming that Luffy will actually have to call all his allies for help is not so much speculation as a promise by Oda-sensei himself. And so I think it's time to take a closer look at all the allies that Luffy has gathered over the years that will fight this all-deciding final war side by side with him against the full power of the world government, the Gorosei and Imu. A war to liberate the world from a tyrannical and exploitative rule that has lasted for over 800 years. Because as you will realize at the end of this video, this host is so large and so powerful that it really raises the question of what the government has up their sleeve to even come close to competing with it. At the core of this army of all armies stands, of course, the Straw Hat crew itself, under the command of the future pirate king Monkey D. Luffy, a fitting title for a commander that will lead such a massive host. The Straw Hats have already pretty much established themselves as a true Yonko crew at this point anyways. The top fighters, namely Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Jinbei, and most likely Yamato, are powerful enough to take on pretty much any opponent on the Grand Line at this point. And even the weakest members like Usopp, Nami, or Robin have reached a terrifying level of power in battle. As a crew with unwavering belief and a wide variety of Devil Fruit abilities and other useful skills, the Straw Hats will lead the final fleet into battle as the flagship. Now, the first massive addition to the Straw Hat army is, of course, the Straw Hat Grand Fleet that was established during the aftermath of the Dressrosa arc. An absolutely unimaginable host of 5,640 men consisting of 7 pirate crews that were enslaved or imprisoned by the Don Quixote family in one way or another. We're talking giants, Long Arms, the Tontada, Cavendish's crew, and of course, my man, Bartholomew. While the Grand Fleet will add an impressive number to the main army, I think it's important to remember that many of its members are top-tier fighters that fought in the Colosseum. Many of them have Haki or Devil Fruit powers, and especially the new giant warrior pirates under the lead of Hyrogene will have a massive impact on the battlefield overall. The other major force that Luffy will be able to count on is, of course, the Ninja Pirate Mink Samurai Alliance that was formed in front of the Road Poneglyph on Zou. I personally think that this force will be even more important and power-packed than the Grand Fleet. The Samurai and Ninja of Wano are known as probably the most powerful people in the entire New World, with fighters strong enough to oppose the world government for centuries. Not only do most of them have advanced Haki in the form of Ryo, but the country is full of special ability users, including the likes of Onimaru, Tama, or Momo, who has the same mythical devil fruit as Kaido himself. Then there are, of course, the 2 pirate crews involved in this as well that have already fought side by side with Luffy in a battle to the death. Law's Heart Pirates and the Kid Pirates, despite their pride and brawls with Luffy, have been established as allies and true believers in Luffy that will stand by his side against a larger evil, be it Kaido or the world's government itself. Whether other Supernova will join the fray as well, we'll have to wait and see about that, but many of them do seem like likely candidates. X-Drake has already fought with Luffy, Hawkins is dead, Bonnie, who's connected to Kuma and has infiltrated Marijoa, I could see many of them standing side by side with Luffy at the end of the series as well. The Minks, of course, aren't far off in terms of their fighting power here as well. I mean, they have basically been surviving and defending their home against powerful invaders for centuries as well, and especially under the full moon, become one of the most fearsome and most powerful weapons that you could ever wish for. Oh, and speaking of their home country, Zunisha, the gigantus elephant that Zou is located on, is of course gonna be part of this all as well. No matter if it's an actual ancient weapon or just a monstrous walking tank of destruction, 𝙻𝚎𝚐𝚐 is gonna have to play a central role in the final battle that most likely will be tied to its past relationship with Joy Boy in some way or form as well, I think. And speaking of ancient weapons, another race that owns its freedom to the Straw Hats now are 𝙻𝚎𝚐𝚐 and the Fishmen. Now that I think about it, actually, I guess technically Fishman Island is actually still Luffy's territory, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, with the Fishmen, we once again have a race of powerful fighters that has been suppressed and discriminated against for hundreds of years. Not only are they able to fight underwater, manipulate the sea currents, and attack ships from below, but their princess, the ancient weapon Poseidon, is literally able to control the Sea Kings, mysterious giant sea monsters similar to 𝙻𝚎𝚐𝚐, whose powers are pretty much forces of nature. And at this point, I think two pretty clear patterns emerge. Luffy's most terrifying ability, as Mihawk calls it, to bring people to his side, fight for him, and believe in him, can be divided into two categories, I think. On the one hand, you have people who have been liberated and saved by Luffy. This is true for pretty much all of the Straw Hats in some way or form. Robin from Enies Lobby, Sanji from Whole Cake Island, Jinbei from Impel Down, but of course also for entire islands, including the Fishmen, whom he saved from Hody Jones and their internal dispute about their racial identity, Wano from Kaido's tyrannical rule or law from his obsession with Doflamingo and his lifelong quest to avenge Corazon. Luffy saving people and bringing them out of their darkness, no matter who they are and what they've done, has always been one of his most powerful character traits. My personal favorite example here is probably Katakuri, whom Luffy saved from his isolation amongst his own crew and the pressure that he felt to never be himself and show any weakness. Katakuri, by the way, also someone I really expect to stand side by side with Luffy at the end. And then on the other hand, there are also many people that Luffy has brought to his side simply by earning their respect and inspiring them to entrust their hopes and dreams into him. A great example here, for example, would be Whitebeard. Luffy did not manage to save either Whitebeard nor his brother Ace during the war at Marineford, but his actions and will earned him the Yonko's respect, and as a result, Luffy has the powerful remnants of the Whitebeard pirates on his side as well, including Marco and Izo, both of whom fought with him on Wano. In the same way, Luffy has inspired Mihawk to help Zoro and very possibly help the crew again in the future. And even though there is of course more to it, it is also the reason why Shanks and Rayleigh and possibly other former members of the Roger Pirates will be fighting by his side as well. I mean, hell, even Kid falls into this category as well when you think about it. As I discussed in his character analysis video, it was Luffy's stubbornness and his willingness to die and fight for him without any second thoughts really that ultimately made Kid trust him fully as a comrade, and now wants to kill him. Whoops. Another really big ally for Luffy in the final battle will of course also be his father, Dragon, and the Revolutionary Army as a whole. The Revolutionaries are already dangerous enough as an organization that Dragon has been named the most wanted man in the world. Not only do they have agents all across the globe and most likely inside the world government ranks as well, but they also have real heavy hitters in their ranks as well, including the commanders of course, Luffy's brother Sabo, Ivankov, and the entirety of the Kamabaka kingdom as well. And we're not even talking about the possible intel that Dragon might have about the true history and the secrets of the world governments. If we're being honest, the Revolutionaries might end up being one of the most crucial pieces for Luffy's success and the downfall of the Gorosei and Imu. But even more than that, there are also forces within the Marines themselves that seem likely to side with Luffy sooner or later. Characters like Smoker or Fujitora, who have opposed Luffy but ended up respecting and cheering for him as they witnessed his kindness, and more importantly, the incompetence and corruption of the government to keep its own citizens safe from harm. There are characters like Kobe, who not only have been one of Luffy's closest friends since the very beginning of the show, but just like X-Drake is part of a secret marine organization SWORD that is opposed to the world noble's cruelty and is fighting for a more just and also independent version of the Marines. And of course, we shouldn't forget Kuzan, who has been friendly towards Luffy and the Straw Hats right from the start, and who has been off doing his own mysterious thing for quite a while now. I think you'd probably agree that he seems like the type of character who would side with the Straw Hats in their fight for a just and free world as well, which would add one of the most powerful characters in the entire story to Luffy's ranks. Someone who has control over the ocean itself would be a more than valuable asset in the final war. Luffy's grandfather Garp is of course another clear-cut character here. He will not watch another one of his grandkids die. He will fight on Luffy's side in the next big war. And there are even more potential allies that might join the fight. The warriors of 𝙻𝚎𝚐𝚐𝚗𝚍, another ancient race associated with the ancient kingdom, might come to Luffy's aid. The giants of Elbaf, another big arc that is coming up soon, will surely also end up as allies to the crew. Similarly, soldiers from kingdoms like Drum Island with Dalton and Kureha, 𝙻𝚎𝚐𝚐𝚐𝚑𝚝 with King Riku and Rebecca, and Alabasta with Vivi should join the battle with a number of forces as well. And as speaking of 𝙻𝚎𝚐𝚐, Luffy liberated the country from the rule of the Don Quixote family, which includes this weirdly thin but very slimy treble. And it has been my mission for a while now to overtake this bounty of 99 million berries. With 100 berries per subscriber, we still have almost 40 million berries to go. So please help me overtake this man by subscribing to the channel. Then there's also more of the Warlords. Boa Hancock will be fighting for Luffy just as surely as Zoro will. Many of the Impel Down prisoners that Luffy helped break out, including Crocodile, maybe Buggy, and hopefully the one and only Mr. 2, Kuma, who has been part of the Revolutionaries and has helped the crew before. And who knows, maybe Vegapunk will actually turn out to be an ally as well, as many people have speculated before, adding incredible technical knowledge and prowess to the mix as well. And others like Sanji's family, the Windsmokes, and their Germa army should be on the Straw Hat side as well at this point, I think. And the biggest wild card of them all is most likely gonna be Shanks and the Red Hair Pirates. However, should they actually survive and turn out to be actual good guys after all, having them join Luffy's Grand Fleet would instantly increase their power multiple times. I mean, seriously, getting another Yonko crew would just really turn this into the ultimate force to wage the largest war the world has ever seen. So I want you to really close your eyes for a second and imagine this army with entire nations, the most powerful fighters on the ocean, ancient weapons, and invincible devil fruits all united under the Straw Hat banner. All of this, of course, leaves us with one really big and really important question. What sort of terrifying secret power, please, does the world government and Emu have up their sleeve to counter this sort of army to make it more or less a fair fight? The next arc on the way to this major battle is going to be Elbaf, and if you want to know what might happen on the Island of the Giants, you really shouldn't ignore this video right here.